Welcome to
Radicle Comedy Karachi.
I am Natalie Diddams and I am a Manchester-based academic researcher and theatre director.
I am Saida Natalia Gul. I am a stand-up comedian and I have an event company by the name of Jungle, which builds on reviving art and entertainment culture in Pakistan.
And we've been working together over the past 4 weeks on a brilliant project in Karachi that has been getting women to perform stand-up comedy for the first time. Now, this is based on a project that I've run in Bradford in the United Kingdom for the past 5 years. And that project invites women to experiment with humour in like a safe and supportive workshop environment. The methodology that I've developed over that time, which I wrote a PhD thesis on, basically gives women the space to grow and develop in their own way. So it trusts that women are funny, which is something that in the UK and I think also in Pakistan I'm learning, women often think that they're not. So it trusts that women are funny and it helps them to collaboratively explore their sense of humour and write stand-up material from that kind of place of support and solidarity.
Yes, thank you so much, Natalie. I think we can thank technology as well, that nowadays we can be global and we've been able to reach you to give us this information and the skill that was really needed in Pakistan. We don't have enough female comics in Pakistan. And when I was doing my comedy open mic every week, I would have a lineup of men and only 2 female comics. But thanks to you, now we're going to get done with having like 14 female comics. I think that's a huge number. And all of them are brilliant with your training and with everything that we've learned from you. I think they've all have developed a skill that they're ready to take stage.
Absolutely. And I think what's also really exciting for me is creating new female stand-ups, but also empowering women to take up more space in their everyday lives. So I know from my own experience of doing stand-up that actually getting up on that stage and performing to an audience and getting them to laugh has really had an impact on how I behave in other scenarios. I feel much more confident now making jokes in my everyday life, and also kind of other kinds of behaviours like being a bit more assertive sometimes, I think. So comedy can help with a whole variety of aspects of your life, and I think we're kind of spreading that sort of sense of empowerment to these women as well, aren't we?
We are.
Should we show some clips?
Yes, definitely. I think there are too many bugs around me, really bothering me, and I think we should now. It's making the atmosphere really funny, but let's just play some clips now.
Let's play some clips. Okay, so what you're going to see is work in progress, stand-up comedy from some of our participants. All of it was recorded in a workshop that happened online, and it's absolutely by no means polished. It's all women performing for the first time, brand new material that they've literally only just written. And in the workshop, we would also be giving each other feedback and playing games and taking part in exercises. So we're kind of inviting you into our workshop space here. And we hope that you enjoy it.
Hi, everyone. Well, I think I deserve a round of applause for keeping my 2 children alive. I've kept one alive for 6 years. The other one for 9 years. And if you're not a parent, you probably don't know this, but children for the first 3 years of their lives are suicidal motherfuckers. Like, do you know how easy it is for a child to die on your watch? All you have to do is this. And when you look back, they will either be committing suicide or they would have already committed suicide. It doesn't matter what you give them a spoon and try looking away. Spoon. Airport security will even let that thing through. But children, you give them a spoon and they'll either have, when you look back, they'll either have stuck it into the socket or they would have shoved it up an orifice and will need medical assistance to get it out. When did we decide to change the rules? Why did we stop accepting these rules that all children universally accept? Like, one of the things one of my kids did during when they were having a fight for the softest pillow, the fight they have every night, and my 6-year-old picked up the pillow and just did this. And he said, he looked into my older son's eyes and said, if you've licked it, you've nicked it. Licked it, you've nicked it. Can you imagine going to a grocery store and just going around like, got the milk, bread, and then one egg?
Oh.
Please, are you sure?
Hi, everyone. Like most families, we also think we're unique, but we really are unique. My family thrives on misery, and the main goal is for each member to prove that they're more miserable and more unwell than the other. It's true. It's a very, very competitive game. I'll start with my girl. She's 86 years old and has led a full, wealthy, healthy life. She has seen her children marry, her grandchildren marry. She's seen her great-grandchildren. And the way she's going, I think she will see at least one great-grandchild marry too. But the thing is, she is convinced. She's been terminally ill for the last 30 years. And yet, she's there. So she thinks she's right. But then there is my mother, who uses illness as an attention-seeking tactic. Till date, she has had 2 heart attacks, kind of cancer, and numerous typhoids and choleras. But the thing is, it's all in her mind. The saddest day actually in my mother's life was when her sister was diagnosed with cancer last year. She was very sad because, the sisters are close. But, then she said, she beat me to it.
So I'm at a point in my life where I can't complain, but I love to. My philosophy is, why work hard when you can work smart? I'm like the Garfield of people, except for the part where there is a man taking care of me. Lekin us pe bhi kaam ho raha hai. I'm working on it. I have started replying to everyone who slips into my DMs. I'm just trying to catch one so I can lick it and nick it. And you know what, like the pandemic has been so good to me and it makes me feel so guilty. Especially since people are going through a lot of shit while all I'm going through is I do laundry on company time. I mean, like Bushra's like lost her job and I'm like, oh Bushra, let me take you out to lunch. We'll figure this out. And she's like, but don't you have work? And I'm like, yes, yes I do. Abusive relationships, a solution on that. It's tricky, right? Because there's always going to be some asshole who's going to say, but if you were in such a miserable relationship, why didn't you leave him? That's like, you don't say that, like, right, girls? Like, that's the shittiest thing to say to anyone. You know what you should say? You should say, if you were in such a miserable relationship, why didn't you tell everyone that he said talaq 3 times? I mean, everyone's gonna swoop in. Your dad, your puppo, mohalle wali auntie, they're not gonna let you be in the same 3-mile radius of each other. Like, nikah nama bhi damn. Your dad's gonna be like, usne talaq de diya tumhe 3 martaba, us ghar se niklo tum. You don't even have to prove you were in an abusive relationship, It's cheaper than a restraining order.
Okay, so whenever I'm about to start something, there's another show going inside my head where a part of my brain is like, am I overthinking this? And the other part is, that's the only way I know how to think. So deal with it. Baap ko mat sikha. Okay, so I want to talk about how utterly confused Desi people can be, how they lack basic self-awareness, and majorly my family members, and how tough it is to deal with them. I mean, the other day, my khala was talking to my mother. She was saying कि Said, who's her husband, she's like, Said, मेरी बिल्कुल बात नहीं सुनते, सिर्फ अपनी अम्मी की बात सुनते हैं. And some seconds later, she was like, नबील को हमारी बात सुननी चाहिए, इसकी बीवी तो अभी आई है, बीवी की बात सुनता है. And I'm like, okay. And my family members' favorite thing to do is bitch about my cousin who works in the movies. It's like they all gather up and they talk shit about her. And majorly my khala, she's like, कितनी बेशरम है, ड्रामों से फिल्मों में चली गई. And some seconds later, she calls her 8-year-old daughter and she's like, बेटा सबको डांस करके दिखाओ ना जो तुमने सीखा है कल, और जो तुमने परफॉर्म किया था क्लास में वो परफॉर्मेंस तो करके दिखाओ. अच्छा परफॉर्म करती है ना ये, मैं क्या बताऊं, बहुत अच्छा डांस करती है. एंड आई एम लाइक ओके.
एक तो भाई जब आप जॉइंट पीते हैं ना तो आपको ऐसा लगता है कि आप जमीन पर हैं ही नहीं, आप कहीं आसमान में बैठे हैं, बहुत ऊपर किसी ऊंची फ्लाइट में उड़ रहे हैं. अब वहां से बैठकर बहनचोद सारे एक दूसरे का भविष्य देख रहे होते हैं कि अब क्या होने वाला है जिंदगी में. अच्छा, इसका इसके साथ सीन चल रहा है, ये उसकी बीवी के साथ गया हुआ था, बहनचोद इसकी बीवी तो लाहौर में बैठी हुई है, और देख इसका सीन क्या चल रहा है. और कभी कभी सोचते हैं कि यार ये बंदर हमसे पहले आए थे या हम बंदरों से पहले आए. और बंदर ऊपर बैठा सोच रहा होता है यार कैसी चूती हैं, केले भी खरीद कर खाते हैं बहनचोद. क्या सीन है इनका. हमारे बारे में सोच रहे हैं, अपने बारे में सोचो यार. कभी कभी सोचते हैं यार ये पेंसिल सीधी है लेकिन सेक्सी कितनी लग रही है. मतलब आप सोचे.
Hi, I'm a professor. And you know what is the best part about being a lecturer? Well, you get free travels to all these conferences where you can discuss your research free of cost, free lunch, and some handsome professors to socialize with. And I realized something very interesting about myself. I just observe things when I want to. So, when we were talking, I did not observe that he had a slit on his skin right off the cheek. But when he was blowing inside that plastic bag, I could see blood coming out of it. That was fun. I don't know what happened. Can't recall the missing bits. But this time I was so excited to go again to this meeting. But my boss says I'm ineligible. And I was really cross. So I asked one of my colleagues to get out of him why he thinks I'm ineligible. And you know what? The answer that my colleague tells me is that, according to my boss, I don't have a personality. That was depressing. That was very depressing. I mean, it was so depressing that I actually went to a doctor and confided into her about my professor, boss, thinking I don't have a personality. You know what she did? She put lots of electrodes in my head. It just ruined my hairstyle totally. But it was worth it because when she diagnosed, I actually have 3. Yeah.
Today I'm going to talk about men. So, have you guys ever noticed that men who are between the ages of 20 to 25 are somehow, somewhere always interested in women older than them? Like their mantra is, jitni experienced, utne maze. And at the very same time, their motto goes like, you can teach me. Along the lines, and their slogan goes like, I've always had a mommy, but I've never had a sugar mommy. As per my theory in life, I believe that there are 2 legal relationships in our society. Number 1, friendships. Number 2, marriage. But the boys who are younger than me have always offered me the gray area between these 2. So there are 5 steps. Let's have this imaginary exercise. Hypothetically speaking, What can go in that gray area? Let's see. So stage 1, we will talk about general things, and the romance of general emojis will go on for at least 2 weeks. Step 2, then you will start sending me your rickshaw ke piche likhi hui poetry just to prove your ishq for me, or for the lack of better words, your tharak. So poetry like, जालिम पलट के देख तमन्ना हम भी रखते हैं. Yeah, right. That will really have me smitten. Step 3, sexting. आज क्या पहना है, कब नहाई थी. I can imagine you here in my bistar. Pure, legit tharak on text messages where people in the WhatsApp headquarters are going to go bonkers. Number 4, the dates. That's where you would want to try to touch me here, there, because COVID है, सिनेमा तो जा नहीं सकते, तुम्हारी बाइक पे ही काम चलाना पड़ेगा, और तुम ठहरे गरीब आशिक, गाड़ी तो होगी नहीं तुम्हारे पास. स्टेज 5, अल्लाह अल्लाह करके आएगा वो वक्त जब हम कहीं किसी कोने खोचे में कुछ कर सकेंगे और एक छोटी मोटी किस हो सकेगी, और उसके बाद तुम्हें पता चलेगा कि तुम कितने बैड किसर हो. और ये वो स्टेज है जहां मैं तुम्हें कह दूंगी टाटा बाय बाय. अब आप बताओ, मतलब किसके पास है इतना वक्त, और कौन काटेगा इतनी ख्वारी टू फिगर आउट कि तुम कितने स्पाइनलेस हो. थैंक यू सो मच.
मुझे पर्सनली इस दुनिया में किसी चीज से प्रॉब्लम नहीं है, हर किसी को रहने का हक है, पर एक चीज है जो बिल्कुल भी इस दुनिया में एग्जिस्ट नहीं करनी चाहिए, वो है मच्छर. यार ठीक है, मुझे पर्सनल प्रॉब्लम नहीं है, मच्छरों से भी नहीं, उनको भी नहीं होगा, वो सिर्फ आपका खून इसलिए चूसते हैं क्योंकि उनको अपना एग्स रिप्रोड्यूस करने होते हैं. तो क्या करूं, मैं उनके लिए मर जाऊं? मसला ये है कि वो क्यों जिंदा रहना चाहते, उन्होंने क्या किया है सिवाय हमारा खून चूसने के और बीमारियां फैलाने, और क्या किया है. ऑलमोस्ट 3000 किस्म अकसाम है मच्छरों की, जिनमें से 200 काटते हैं, ठीक है 200 काटते हैं, लेकिन मैं उनसे भी नफरत करती हूँ, बाकी के 2800 से. मुझे सिर्फ एक इख्तलाफ है, ये है कि ठीक है आप ही काटना है ना, आप आए काटें और जाएं. नहीं, आप आएंगे, आप जूम काटें. क्या मतलब आप रात को इमेजिन करें, आधी रात को उठ के अपने मुंह पे बस लिटरली थोड़े मारते हैं, हद कर दी. मतलब मेरे लिए इस दुनिया में मतलब सबसे जो ग्रेटेस्ट इन्वेंशन है वो मच्छरों का बैट.
I'm a bit frustrated because I come home, I cook, I clean, I pay the damn bills. I'm practically the backbone of this family. Oh, by the way, I live alone. The thing about being an independent woman is I feel like I have it all. Like I have everything. I can buy myself whatever I want. I can go wherever I want. The fanciest shit. I don't have to wait for no man. I'm the best. But then it's that one jar. That's where the challenge comes in, and I'm constantly having an existential crisis. I open the damn jar and I'm thinking, okay, I'll open it now, time to cook, but I can't do it. One spin, oh, I should have listened to my mother. Not open. Second spin, I'm going to die alone. Third spin, they'll find my body with my cat having half eaten it. It's stressful. I tell you that. It's fruitful, but it's stressful. The kind of shit I have to do for myself all the time. I have to take care of myself. So I mean, sometimes I'll order things, sometimes the bell will ring. And being the millennial that I am, I'm too scared to answer the door. For all I know, it's a serial killer. It's scary, guys. It really is. They're like, you're going to feel less stressed out if you have somebody with you. I'm thinking, okay, maybe I can do it. I can try. So I get a cat. I cuddle with her every night. It's the best relationship. It's a bit toxic. She scratches me everywhere and everything.
So the good news is that after a stagnant 2 to 3% growth in economy, I mean the constant 2 to 3% growth in economy, Pakistan has now become independent in making memes. So for every good or bad thing, we have a meme ready in seconds. So let me share an example. During the recent power breakdown that we all faced, Pakistanis posted around 1.6 million memes in just 1 second. Imagine how productive have we become? So I hope the economists start counting it towards the GDP, which is the gross domestic product. And if that happens, I would be the most happiest person on earth because I would have a practical examples to give to my economics students. So the breakdown reminds me of some funny memes that I came across. So someone termed the reason for breakdown as the fault in our cars. The other one termed, the other one explained it as coo, 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 the famous Khalnayak song that was picturized on Madhuri. Yeah, it was the sound of the boots he meant, not the sound of the bird. And the funniest one that I liked the most was that the whole country is tripping. So we all know that we all love our heritage so much. So we have our national heroes, our national flower, our national animals, national park that we just wrote, learned, and rarely see. With the rapid changes in social media and availability of internet, we now have a national comment. Any guesses on that? So the national comment that we have in place is nice pick, dear. So this is the comment that I get from 20 of my friends on every picture that I post on Facebook.
These days, I've been thinking a lot about myself lately because that's what self-obsessed people who think they are funny enough to make other people laugh do. Russell Peters कौन है मेरे सामने? उसके तो सर पे बाल भी नहीं है. My comic hero is Mr. Bean. He's the most famous electrical engineer you know. Yes, he has a degree in electrical engineering. Guess who else has a degree in electrical engineering? You're Miss Marvelous Rhythm. Mr. Bean, Mr. Bean and I actually have a lot in common. We both couldn't find jobs as electrical engineers after graduating because the electrical engineering job market was taken over by Aima Beg. क्योंकि उसके अंग अंग में बिजली भरी है और मेरे अंग अंग में दिलचस्पी भरी है. So something which Mr. Bean doesn't have but I do. I have a master's degree in artificial intelligence. Not the real intelligence, the artificial one, because apparently you cannot teach real intelligence to real people. You have to be born unlucky to be the most intelligent, aka the most hated person in the classroom. Mr. Bean and I are also both very private people. We don't talk a lot to other people. Like when people try to make small talk with me and ask questions like, oh, where have you come from? I say, my mom's belly. And when they say, oh, what do you do for a living? I say, my best. I'm doing my best for a living.
So it was my birthday last night and I wrote a little set about birthday. So I feel like birthdays are a very unique experience for somebody whose birthday it is because you get a lot of uninvited attention from everywhere. It seems like people wake up from the dead just to wish you on your birthday on Facebook and leave an HBD on your wall. You know, I don't hate these people. I have nothing against these people because I know they're lazy All I know is that when they die, I'm gonna leave an RIP on their wall. And not in Inna Lillahi wa Inna Ilaihi Raji'un, because first of all, I don't know how to write that. I'm always copy pasting from the comment above. Because 2000s May, there was an economic growth in China, and suddenly we started getting all these Chinese mal and Chinese toys. So मेरे parents ने मुझे कभी toys के लिए नहीं तरसाया. I had every China toy. And then I was the generation which was lucky enough to have a cell phone, because the generation before us who really relied on MIRC are kind of fucked up. But I'm so glad I had a cell phone, so मेरी जवानी बच गई. But you know, my mother tells us that, you know, talking to the boyfriends or guys at that time was so difficult at that time, because there used to be only one phone in the house. वो भी कहीं center में lobby में पड़ा हुआ है. And how they used to talk to the guys is they used to stay back from dawats कि वो घर पे कोई नहीं होगा तो तब लड़कों से बात करेंगे. तो मेरी नानों को एक दिन दफा शक हो गया कि ये दोनों पीछे यही घूम के हरकतें करती हैं. So what she did was she opened the phone, she took out the receiving piece जिसमें आपको आवाज आती है, and she put it in the purse and she left. मतलब नानो ने इंजीनियरिंग वाली हरामीपना किया है बच्चों. अगर थोड़ा उससे पीछे चला जाएं, the things that lovers had to do to communicate was they used pigeons for communication. I mean, just what is the guarantee that pigeon is not gonna die coming from one city to another city? I mean, and what's the guarantee the message is not gonna get changed? Because you know how it is, बात क्या बन जाती है, like a Chinese whisper. तो क्या guarantee है कि lover ने वहां से भेजा एक note और पहुंचते पहुंचते वो चेंज ना हो जाए? क्या पता उसने भेजा हो HBD और पहुंचते पहुंचते वो RIP बन जाए.
सोचती मैं रहती हूँ पर होता मुझसे कुछ नहीं. सोचती मैं रहती हूँ पर होता मुझसे कुछ नहीं. बड़े बड़े ख्वाब मेरे छोटी सी आंखों में. बड़े बड़े ख्वाब मेरे छोटी सी आंखों में. कहने को तो दोस्त है मेरे पर सबसे कमीने हैं. कहने को तो दोस्त है मेरे पर सबसे कमीने. कहने को है दोस्त मेरे पर सबसे कमीने हैं. मेरी बातें सुन के मुझ पर ही हंसते हैं. कहने को तो दोस्त है मेरे पर सबसे कमीने हैं. बातें मेरी सुन के मुझ पर ही हंसते हैं. सोचती मैं रहती हूँ पर होता मुझसे कुछ नहीं. गाना आता नहीं पर फिर भी गा रही हूँ मैं. गाना आता नहीं पर फिर भी गा रही हूँ. गाना आता नहीं पर फिर भी गा रही हूँ. सबको रुला के रॉक स्टार बन रही हूँ. गाना आता नहीं फिर भी गा रही हूँ मैं. सबको रुला के मैं रॉक स्टार बन रही हूँ. सोचती मैं रहती हूँ पर होता मुझसे कुछ नहीं. सोचती मैं रहती हूँ पर होता मुझसे कुछ नहीं. बड़े बड़े ख्वाब मेरे छोटी सी आंखों में. बड़े बड़े ख्वाब मेरे छोटी सी आंखों में.